Hello, welcome back to another episode of Balancing Healthy. You guys, I'm currently in my little bit of like test it, try it era as a small business owner and just a girl who's podcasting from her home. We're just trialing and making do because I used to film on Zoom, right? It was easy. It just like straight away I could upload into Spotify, all the things. I don't need to go into the details, but it was easy and I did it that way. But I thought the quality could be better. So then when I started season two, I don't even know how many weeks ago, I started recording on my phone because I was like, the phone quality is so much better. However, I've discovered I was looking at my recent episodes I looked at on YouTube and on Spotify, and I was like, let me just kind of see the quality of these videos. And somewhere in the process of like connecting my phone to my laptop and getting the video on that way, and then I have to export it again, and then I have to load it into Spotify and YouTube. At some point in that process, the quality has really diminished. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, how have I not known this sooner? Every single episode is like it's really grainy and it's really kind of bugging me. I mean it's great for my Instagram reel recaps because I take that straight from my phone and edit it in my phone, but the quality of the actual podcast is not great. So I'm really not happy with that. So I'm just kind of like trialing and testing. I do have another device I actually want to use. I want to buy to record the podcast, but it's quite expensive and I don't know enough about it yet to just go and buy it. So anyway, this is just me for now. I'm just a girl, just literally in my apartment. So we're just gonna make do. And because I'm on Zoom on my laptop, I keep not looking at the camera. So if you catch me, like if you're watching this on like YouTube or something and you catch me, keep looking down to the side. It's because I'm looking at myself in the video, but I keep forgetting to look at the camera because I'm so used to just having the phone, the back camera. So like I just look at the phone and I can't see me, but now I can see that I'm like in frame and like things are like looking good. So I'm feeling really good about that. I kind of feel like I'm like back in my like home. What's it called? Like comfort. Like I just feel quite good. And you can see the microphones. I forgot to mention that I've got a different microphone. So this is the one that I actually bought for podcasting. I use it for all my calls when I do calls with clients, just because the quality is much better coming through my laptop as well. So the quality is a bit different to when I use my other handheld microphone, which I do love her because give me a microphone. That's just kind of girl I am. But anyway, if you have gone too long. So today's episode, I really want to dive into setting yourself up, sorry, for success this Christmas, more so this December. So you're not gonna undo all your hard work from this year. So I've got a few things I want to talk about, but firstly, I want to give you guys a deficit update because I officially finished my deficit a couple of days ago. So the day of recording is currently the 26th of November. And I finished my deficit on the weekend. So I actually finished my deficit in line with my recent 12-week challenge for balancing her. And we had the most amazing Christmas party. I didn't know what to call it. I was like end of challenge celebrations, end of year celebrations, Christmas party, like all the vibes. I hosted a dinner, drinks, that kind of vibe in the city. It was beautiful weather. It wasn't like crazy stinking hot, but it didn't rain until nighttime. So we got the most gorgeous afternoon. It was like 4:30. The booking was 4 and we were there for 4 or 5 hours or something. And it was just so much fun. Just like cocktails and good food. Like I'm not here going like, we need to eat clean and stuff. I'm like, you want some fried chicken? Let's add some fried chicken. You want some chippies? We're gonna have some chippies. Like, you want a burrito taco? I cannot say that word. Like, let's get them. If you've had them, you know they're very like greasy, oily, but they're so fucking good. So I'm like, guys, add what you want, and like, it's my shout. Like I'm like we're just celebrating. So that was so much fun. My outfit arrived. I was really really excited. If you haven't seen go look at my Instagram. It's the most gorgeous, like yellow is a jumpsuit. It looks like a two-piece set, but it's a jumpsuit and I fucking frothed it. And I was like, I feel so good. And it's pretty much gonna be my new personality. So if you see me wearing that all the time, we're coming into summer, just let me do my thing. But anyway, so post deficit. So I finished my deficit on the Sunday. So that what's it called? That dinner and drinks and stuff was on the Saturday. Post deficit results is a total of 3.7 kilos lost and 9 centimeters lost as well. And this is that thing of people will look at that and go, oh, 13 weeks, that's all you lost. But I'm like, actually, that's pretty fucking good. So I had 4 weekends away across 13 weeks. That's a lot. That's crazy. And it was like every second weekend, like it was just like this constant like cycle of weekends away. I had meals out every week. It was either, out for a birthday or out for family dinner, like things like that. I had bottomless drinks in there. Like I had a lot in there. Like your girl is busy, life is busy, and 3.7 kilos, very happy with. I'm not even like convinced about the 9 centimeters because if you see my photos I post on my Instagram, I'm like, your girl's looking good. So that's the other thing as well I want to say is that I'm at a point where I'm a lot of muscle and not a lot of fat. And when I say that, I could lose a lot of fat from my body, but that would be bodybuilder territory. Like, I don't need to lose a lot of fat. Like, I'm quite happy. I don't need to look smaller and tiny. Like, I just wanted to, my real intentions were to kind of like lose a bit of the bloat. Again, I haven't had a lot on this year. I was having like sleep issues, stress issues, all the kind of thing. So kind of like get rid of the bloat and just kind of like feel really, really good again, which, again, let's say like period and stuff, like I'm gonna blow. Oh my God. I don't know what's just got stuck in my throat. Oh my God. Sorry about that. But yeah, like period and stuff, like you're gonna bloat, like you're gonna have days, but like I feel fucking unreal. And the amount of people that said to me throughout the 13 weeks, like, oh my God, Sarah, like you're looking smaller or you're looking slimmer, or like, have you lost weight? Like people were asking me and people were saying things, and I was like, this is so cool because I'm like, yeah, like the scales don't really move much, but I feel fucking amazing. And it's one of those things that I really try and like preface with my clients. And muscle weighs more than fat. So you could be putting on muscle. I was PBing most weeks in the gym. Like PBing, considering I had less food, less energy, my step count had increased. I was working a lot. I'm very on my feet for work. Like I was PBing a lot. So I was digging fucking deep, like digging fucking deep. And I feel like I held onto my strength and held onto my muscle. If maybe not, maybe I built a little bit more. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I'm just like, I feel incredible. The photos speak for themselves. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the end of my deficit recap. I don't think I had anything else to say, but what the reason I wanted to share that is because again, like I said, I want to tie it into like I don't want to go into Christmas like December and just kind of go fuck it and undo that 3.7 kilos. Like I will say to everyone like around kind of Christmas week, there's so many events on. Again, this is so dependent on you and your lifestyle and what you do and stuff like that. But for me, in the space of a week, I have my partner's birthday. So we'll probably have like something with his family and something with his friends. And then I have a friend's birthday, so doing something for that. And then we do 4 Christmases. So we've got my partner's extended family, his immediate family, and then Christmas with my dad and Christmas with my mum. So it's like that's in the space of 7 days. So for me, I am like pretty much guaranteed to like put on 1 or 2 kilos in that time. Like I do, and what I'm going to get into today, I will still do all those things, but that's a lot of food out. So it's a lot more drinks, a lot more sodium, a lot more calories, a lot more meals. Like it's a lot more than my body is used to. So anyway, if you're like me and you've worked hard this year and you've really put a lot of work into your body and, whether it's losing weight, whether it's building muscle, whether it's maintaining, like whatever your goal has been for this year, if you've put a lot of work in and you don't want to undo it over Christmas, over December, which you shouldn't want to undo it because why would you? Then this is going to be the thing for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is just kind of like handling social events without feeling guilty. And for me, this one's more of a mindset thing. So not as much of like things you can do, but more that mindset. And for me, I think if you are feeling guilty for like going to social events, that's something to work on there in the sense of if you're in a deficit, I don't think you should be. I don't think coming into Christmas parties, Christmas birthdays, all the things, I think a deficit should be the last thing on your mind. Trying to lose weight should be the last thing on your mind because that already is you going, I'm trying to lose weight, but then I have this Christmas party and then this birthday and then this was in the office, like whatever it is, you're gonna go, I feel so guilty because it's like every second day there's something on this a treat there's something in front of you. And this is a time of celebration. It is a time for events. It is a time for so much and for having some more drinks and some having some more food and stuff. And it's not something that I think you should feel really what's the word, like discouraged for wanting to do. I think it's something that you should be able to do and still stay on track to your goals. like I said, it's not gonna be the thing of you should be trying to lose weight in this time. It should be you should be trying to maintain what you've done so far for the year and then keeping that as much as you can through December. And then when January comes, instead of being like, fuck, I've undone everything, you're like, cool, I've just kind of like maintained. I had a lot of fun. I was really, really balanced. And then you can kind of go from there and then straight back into it. Like whenever you're back into the swing of things in January. Again, some people, you know, if you've got kids, some people have the whole school holidays. They don't go back to work really to the end of Jan. Some people like me, you don't really have any time off. I have taken I think it's 8 days I've got off, which just coincides with that, kind of coincides with that 7 day Christmas period I've got. Like I just need a little bit of a break at some point there. So I've taken a little bit of time off, but like, I'm not in an office. I don't like my workplace doesn't close for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it is. So it's really like kind of like take this with the flow. And I don't want you to feel that pressure of come Jan 1st, you have to be back on your grind and back into the gym and back into this and back into that because half of you are on holidays. You might actually physically be away. And the last thing on your mind should be like, it's Jan 1st, I need to get into it because that is kind of the number one thing that's going to ruin your mindset for January, for the year. Like you really, if you're doing that, you're really setting yourself up to fail from the start. So that is that. So that when it comes to feeling guilty around social events, I really, really think that that is such a mindset thing. And that's something that you kind of need to address and dig a little bit deeper into. It's not even just the fact of the deficit. It's also the fact of like, how long have you been in the deficit for? How long have you been trying to diet for? How long have you been trying to lose this weight and still struggling to lose it and struggling to go to a social event and struggling to have some drinks and struggling to have extra food without feeling guilty? So I think that's kind of like a different standpoint. If it's something you do struggle with, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I'm more than happy to help you dive a little bit more into that, potentially see where it's coming from. It's what I do with my clients. It's one of the first things I do when I have a call with someone. I really dive into the depths of things, into the mindset, into everything. And I'm like, okay, how do we feel about this? How do we feel about that? And then I dig a lot deeper. So again, a lot of people will be like, I'm anxious going to events or I feel guilty going to events. And it is because of that thing of they've just known eat less, eat less, eat less. Don't drink alcohol, don't eat carbs, don't do this. And it's really like, it's just become ingrained in us. And it's something that was ingrained in me for so long as well. And it took me quite a while to get out of that, but I've done it. And like on the weekend, I was like drunk with my clients. I mean, I was probably the only drunk one there because I was just having cocktails and lots of vodka. But I was like, I'm not going to hide and pretend that like you shouldn't be drinking because I love to have a drink and I love to have a little bit of a boogie and I love to have a little bit of party. So that's my style. But let's move on to my next point and go into the actual tips and tricks. So the next thing is how to navigate the extra food and the drinks without undoing your process, my goodness, your progress. So this is like we're actually going to get into that like nitty gritty of it. So the first thing you can do is plan for it. All right. Plan for it in a way of calorie banking, not in a way of like you need to be in the deficit, but potentially your calories throughout the week are at that lower maintenance or more towards your deficit range. So let me use me for example. So I was in my deficit doing, what was the last week? Tracking around 1800 to 1900. That's where I was last week. Instead of going straight back to maintenance because I don't feel like my body needs that. Like, oh my God, excuse me. Why did I just hiccup like that? Instead of going straight back to maintenance, we're doing like a kind of a gradual increase, but not so slow that it's only 100 calories a week. So for example, I was tracking it between 18 to 1900 for my deficit last week. But my actual deficit calories are sit around 2000, right? The reason I was doing that is because I had so many events on. So if I had been tracking at 2000 every day and going to all these events, I wouldn't have dropped the 3.7 kilos, right? Because it just would have been all this extra food. Whereas by having less, by having 100 to 150 less per day, that's opened up anywhere between 500 to like 800. I can't do the math off the top of my head, but it's opened up that for those special events, like all that extra calorie space for those special events. So planning it and banking the calories when you need to. So what we've done this week to go first week back like towards maintenance is my maintenance calories have jumped up to 2200, which again, that's not my full maintenance. We're gradually increasing. But I'm actually still tracking around 1900 because this weekend I've got bottomless drinks with one of my friends for her birthday. And then I've got my niece's first birthday on Sunday. I'm so excited. I can't believe she's one. That is so wild to me. I'm like, I literally found out you were like a thing 18 months ago and now you're turning one. Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go to bottomless. I keep saying bottomless brunch. It's 6 p.m. It's dinner. It's bottomless drinks. I'm gonna go to bottomless drinks and I'm gonna go to my niece's first birthday and I'm gonna have a good time. And I'm not gonna drink myself silly because A, I don't enjoy the feeling of being hungover, but B, I also have to be up very early for the birthday the next day. So I'm not gonna drink myself silly, but I do go and enjoy myself. I'm there for bottomless drinks. I'm gonna have bottomless drinks. I'm gonna have as much as my body can handle in that time. I don't care. You know, that's what I do. Obviously, you eat with that as well because we need to be eating while we're drinking. We don't want to be cooked from the drinks. So by tracking 1900 on all the other days, I've allowed what that's like 200 to 300 a day to put towards those calories in the weekend, to put towards the bottomless drinks, to put towards my niece's birthday. I have no idea what kind of food I'm having it either. I'm just gonna have it. I'm just gonna be there. I'm gonna have it. There's also that thing of like, so right now, it's Wednesday, so it's been a couple of days, by having my low, like 1900 so far, the few days this week, I'm still sitting at my low weight from the deficit. I've not jumped up. And it'll probably jump up a little bit on the weekend because that's the nature of drinking and eating lots more food. But as a week overall, my weight will like have barely moved, which is perfect, is exactly what we want. I'm really big on weekly averages. So I always look at your 7 weigh-ins across the week, add them up, divide them by seven. My Fitbit app does it for me, so I don't have to do the maths myself. Like it automatically tells me my weekly average. So my weekly average this week is literally currently sitting below what it was last week. It's like 500 grams less currently. So that's a slay. Um, but yeah, so we planned for it. We calorie banked it. And you know what? I'm used to eating this low through my deficit and I wasn't completely struggling. So for me, it's a no-brainer because, like I said, it means that when I get to the end of the week, I don't have like this massive jump in my weight and then have to spend all this time bringing it back down. It's like I've evened it out throughout the week. I also was meant to go to my partner's parents for dinner tonight, but we're not going anymore. So that's another, like that just for me just kind of works in my favor. But that would be another place where I don't track a single thing. I'll eat my breakfast, my lunch, whatever snacks is normal, and then I'll just have dinner and just enjoy the moment. Um, then we go to on the day. So another something that I think people really, really struggle with is on the day of said event, they go into restriction mode because they go, all right, I'm going to eat a lot later. So I'm not going to have any breakfast and I'm going to have a really tiny salad for lunch. And then I'll have all the calories in the world to have tonight. So this is me. Let's pretend I'm on Saturday. I'm having my bottomless drinks. So yeah, let's say didn't have breakfast and had a really tiny salad for lunch. And then you get to the bottomless and A, you start drinking and you're drunk in 2 seconds because you've not had any food. But B, it's that thing of, okay, you haven't eaten all day. So of course you're going to eat everything tonight. Of course you're going to eat everything at this bottomless dinner because your body is literally fucking starving. So by not eating through the day, you've actually created the issue later. Like you've created that starvation and you've created that thought that you had earlier. You made it true. So when you thought, oh, I'm going to eat a lot tonight, so I better not eat today, you made that true because you didn't eat. Does that make sense? Not that you can answer me, but does that make sense? So like for me, something I do. It's a weekend. I won't be training on the weekend because I'll have my sessions done already. But on the day, what I do really, really important is I still do movement. Generally, it's getting my steps because I don't know why. When I train at the gym and then I go have drinks later, I'm like drunk in 2 seconds. I don't know what it is. I think because the body's still recovering. It's just, I don't know, it's not having a good time. So I try to avoid training the morning of going for drinks. So my movement will always be my walk, like getting steps in. Make sure you're hydrated as fuck. Make sure you keep that water up. That water is so important. It's going to help flush out any of those toxins. Like before the event, you want to be hydrated so you're not dehydrating off one glass of whatever you're drinking. But then also like you're kind of like ahead the next day if that makes sense. The next thing that I go for is I always have breakfast. It might be later in the day. It might be. My breakfast actually at the moment I thought of this morning because I started eating my breakfast at 6:50. It was so early, but I was starving this morning. I usually have breakfast between like 9 and 9:30, 9:30, something like that. Just the way that my mornings always plan out. So I would still always have a breakfast. It's just dependent on like I would probably have it later and it might be bigger. So depending on like what I've got in the house, and what time my events start. So for me, for example, this weekend, because I'm doing it doesn't start till 6, my drinks and stuff, I can control the whole day. I can control what I have for breakfast. I can control what I have for lunch. I can control everything else. So I will very likely have my usual eggs, avo, maybe some beef mince if I have any left, like just like my usual kind of breakfast, proteins, some fats, like high volume, high protein meals. I always also go heavy on like fruit or veg. So that's how you can get that high volume, high fiber. That's also going to keep you fuller for longer. So, for example, a lunch that I've been having for weeks is like this chicken salad. Sounds boring, but the way I make it is chef's kiss. It's pretty much my burger bowl just with chicken because I was having beef mince for breakfast. So I started having chicken for lunch so that I can get a lot of protein in. And so I watched Change the Game. It's made my protein intake so much easier. But not the point of this story. The point is a chicken salad. It's literally like 350 calories and it's a fucking huge bowl. Like it's huge, but it's because I chuck heaps of lettuce, cucumber, carrot. I chuck in my favorite pickles. And then I have like I think like 50 grams of avo, depending on how big the avo is, it can be like half an avo. And then I have heaps of chicken on top, chuck on my Thousand Island dressing, and it's literally just giving like it's giving like sweet and sour vibes. It's so yummy. Anyway, it's a huge, but it's like 350 calories. And because I put so much chicken in there, it's like 40 grams of protein. Like it's so good. And that's a perfect example of a high protein, high volume lunch. It's going to keep me full until closer to my event. So for me, having those two things, high volume, I was gonna say high calorie, not high calorie, high volume, high protein foods. Probably, I could probably check my phone right now, but I won't do that. That would probably bring me to like 1,000 calories, if that. If I have a snack as well, 1,000 calories, if that. And this is not me saying you should only eat 1,000 calories. This is just me giving an example. So I'm still full from breakfast and lunch. I will very likely have snacks in there. I can't wait that late to leave my calories. I'll be cooked. Um, but it gives me so much more space later in the day, if that makes sense. But I've still been able to eat in the morning, and I'm not going to go stir crazy at night. I'm not going to go to the event and be like, I'm going to down every single cocktail here and I'm going to, eat every single thing on the menu. Do you know what I mean? Like it gives you, because I've eaten throughout the day, my body and my brain is like, cool, we're regulated, we've eaten, like we're not in starvation mode, like we're good. Like it's not in that restriction mode, we're good. So they are like the biggest things I would recommend in terms of navigating extra food and drinks without losing slash undoing all of your progress so far. I hope that's made sense so far. I do want to go into one more thing just while we're getting into like the nitty gritty of like, again, events coming on, people are going to start to go away, school holidays coming up, all of that kind of thing. And I want to talk about pivoting your training during this busy season and or if you're going away. So there's a couple of things you can do. Because again, I'm not really one person. I'm not really the kind of person that will train on the weekend. Just me being a personal trainer. I am in a gym. I go to the gym I do 3 sessions myself a week, and then I PT 3 times a week, but they're like long days, like 6 till 1, like my average Friday. Like it's very back to back. I have a lot of clients. I'm in a gym for a lot of the week. So I really try and have the weekend gym free. That's how I roll. That kind of gives me more peace. It gives me more space. And then also if I have events and stuff on, I don't have to worry about, oh, when am I going to fit in my session? I'm like, cool. I can have a sleep in because I love to have a little sleep in on the weekend. And then I'm good to go. But if you're someone who, say, you do 4 sessions a week and you always, maybe you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and you're about to have so much on, so many parties, so many events that you're like, shit, I actually can't stay consistent with my 4 sessions. I want you to lower your sessions. So instead of being like, oh, I can do 4 one week and then 1 the next week, and then I'm cooked the next week, so I don't do any, I want you to do something that you can do consistently. It could even look like going down to 2 sessions. I think 2 per week, every single week, is a lot more maintainable than going 4 one week, 1 week, this 1 week, and like feeling that anxious, oh no, I've missed my sessions, and when am I going to make it up? And like, when am I going to do blah, blah, blah. Split it to what you can. You might even go down to 3 sessions a week, and maybe it's 2 or 3 full body sessions. And that way you can hit all your muscle groups each time. And then if you do miss that last session, it's not the end of the world. it's never going to be the end of the world anyway. But just from like a mindset, because I'm very much like, I like to do all my training sessions and tick them all off, call it ADHD. But so you can still kind of have that without feeling too guilty, switch them to full body sessions. If you missed the last one, that's fine. It's also going to be really good for your recovery as well. So you're not like cooking your legs. And then, because again, if you're eating more food, if you're drinking more, if you're not prioritizing your protein and your water as much, which can be the nature of Christmas, I'm not saying to do this, but if you're not prioritizing it as much, then your body's not going to recover as well. So switching to full body sessions can really allow you to have more of that recovery time between each one, and then you'll feel better each time you go in and not feel like, oh, I can't walk, or oh, I can't lift my arm kind of thing. So that is kind of my first point. If you are someone who goes away, if you go away for extended periods, like whatever you kind of do, generally, because I feel like I follow, or like I know a lot of people that will go away like camping, or they'll go away and do things that's not like going on an overseas holiday. Like that's a different story. I'm talking about if you go away with like your family for a week, or like I said, you go away camping or whatever you kind of do. There's things you can do and things that I would recommend just to kind of keep the body moving. So first thing, like if you have access to the internet, something like that, you could do like a YouTube Pilates or yoga kind of workout. If you have some like light free weights, or some resistance bands, like long resistance bands, you could do like an at-home workout. Again, like look it up on YouTube, do kind of like an at-home workout. Some things that I do for my clients, if they're away or they have to change their program, whatever the reason, I will always say, okay, what do you have access to? And then I will either write them like a program. Maybe it's more body weight stuff. Like maybe the style of training isn't, okay, we're going to hit the gym and we're going to train hard and like lift heavy weights. It might be more of a, okay, we've switched to still a bit of weights, like still get the same muscles working, but in a way more of endurance. So more of that cardio kind of thing. So that's always a good way to keep the body moving and train without training the way that you would. And it might hurt a little bit because you're really changing up the stimulus, but it's still, like I said, a really good way to keep the muscles moving and keep them, that muscle memory, nice and fresh. You know what I mean? Like, so instead of maybe squatting with a 40-kilo barbell, maybe you're squatting with a dumbbell at your chest, or maybe you've only got booty bands and you're squatting with a band on your knees. Like there's different ways you can do things and still get that burn. So there's that. The other things I would say though is daily walks, which I'm sure a lot of people do when they're away. I think a lot of people get in lots of steppies when they're away, but I think that's one of the big ones. And then daily stretches as well, just to keep your body mobile, keep it feeling open, not to let it tighten up or anything, because if you do that, when you get back to training, if it's January, Feb, whenever you get back to it, your body is going to take so much time to kind of warm up into that. Whereas if you can keep that stretching up, whatever you do kind of pre or post session now, if you can really keep that up throughout, like your when you're away and stuff, your body's just going to thank you so much. I even think to like, I realized this morning I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I was busting for a wee, but I was like, oh, like my body, like I was like, I can't move my arm. I feel so tight. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, yesterday I didn't do as much of my stretching before my workout. I did upper body yesterday. I did lower the day before. My legs are a little sore. And then I was on my feet, like I was doing a million things. And then I was on my feet working. I literally was on my feet for 7 hours. I'm like, I didn't sit down for 7 hours. I sat down to have my dinner at 8:30 last night and I was like, whoa, this feels good. And that's when I realized, oh, I've been on my feet for 7 hours. So yeah, I'm like, my body was feeling it today. So I'm like just having that stretch. I had a really good foam roll this morning and a really good stretch. So I'm feeling better now. So if you have a foam roller, take that away with you. Do what you can. Like the tiniest little things just to keep your body moving, just so you don't stiffen up. Um, it's just going to be the key. And then, like I said, when you come back to your normal routine after Christmas, which I'll talk to in an episode in a couple of weeks' time, when you come back to that routine, your body's just going to thank you so, so much for it. So they're kind of like my recommendations, to the point where my challenge for Balancing Her. So for those, if you don't know, Balancing Her is my 12-week group program. You can join at any time, but I do actually have a 12-week challenge running from Jan 19th. If you are interested, keen, whatever, jump to my Instagram. I've got a pinned post with all the details in it. It is currently 20% off until, let me look at my little calendar, 14th of December. That's when I'm giving you 20% off until. After that, it's full price, and I'm not changing it, which means you can get training and nutrition for 12 weeks for $360, which works out to be $30 a week. for all the stuff that you get inside of Balancing Her, it's not just like training and nutrition, here you go. We'll do an onboarding call so then I can actually plan out your 12 weeks to make it work for you. Like I said, I do all these kind of changes to my clients. We have monthly challenges, which is that's a very fun and exciting. I nearly said a really bad word. So we have monthly challenges. So like the current one for this month is a daily habit challenge because again, I think habits start to drop. But what I'm doing for December is a daily movement challenge. So 20 minutes of movement, and it could be anything. It could be a strength workout, it could be a yoga, it could be a Pilates, it could be just your daily walk, it could be a stretch, it could be anything. But again, it's just a way for my clients to keep themselves on track and accountable and keep their bodies moving because I think it is so, so, so important to do that throughout all of December, all of its crazy busy period. Like I said, especially if we're not eating as well as we usually would and we're drinking some more, then like just keeping that body moving and mobile is going to be the best thing for you. So yeah, well, I'm literally doing that for our December challenge, which I'm very excited about. And then the winner will get every month, the winner gets a $150 voucher, but I always tailor it to the challenge. So for this current one, I actually don't have the voucher in my head yet because I'm like, depending on who the winner is and what habit they chose, I'm going to tailor it to that. My previous month was a step challenge. So I gave the winner a $150. I think she chose Asics in the end. I said, let me know where you buy your runners and you get a $150 voucher for that. I did a food one early this year and someone got a $150 voucher for, I think they chose Woolies. I gave someone a $150 Endo to Spa voucher for a wellness challenge we had. Like, I'm really intentional with when I do these challenges and why I do these challenges. So that is like the beauty of Balancing Her because it is about balance and it's something that I'm literally like in December I think you need someone to lean on more than ever. You need someone to, if you have a question, like send me a message. If you're feeling a bit anxious or stressed, you can send the group chat. I guarantee there's other people in that group chat going, oh my God, I'm feeling the same way. I've got this event on. It's a really good space for me to just come into the group chat as well and just like send some voice messages like, hey guys, if you've got XYZ on this weekend, here's what I would do. And it's just a way of accountability. And I just love it. Yeah, it's just the best space ever. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up this episode here. If Balancing Her sounds like something that like you're interested in, or if you've heard a bit about it, you're unsure, send me a message on Instagram, or like I said, there is a pinned post on there, details for the challenge. You can sign up for the challenge and we can do an extended payment plan as well. So it can be as little as, depending on when you start, as little as, I think it's currently $18 a week for the extended payment plan. And we'll do the onboarding call like as soon as you can. So then I can put that plan in place. So I can give you your plan for December. And then when we hit January and we hit that first, like the start of the 12-week challenge, you're good to go. You've primed your body for it and you're ready to go. So anyway, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I have got all my podcast episodes planned out to the end of the year and I've got some for January. But I would love for you guys to send me a message on things that you want to hear about, things that you struggle with in your day-to-day life, things that, I don't know, potentially, I was going to say stress you out. That's really not what we're going for here. Things that you just feel lost or confused, or there's so much on the internet and you're like, I don't know what to believe. Let me know. Tell me. Leave a comment, actually, if you want. Leave a comment on this episode, and then I can absolutely get cracking on adding that to my podcast list. But I'm going to leave this here for now. I'm going to leave the podcast episode be. I do have something as well coming to my Instagram in a couple of days. It's going to be launching on the 1st of December. Just like a little bit of like a Balancing Her teaser, if you will, completely free. So I'm going to leave that with you. I will talk about it in next week's episode, but make sure to follow me on Instagram if you're not already. You can follow me on TikTok too. I'm kind of on both here and there, but I feel like I'm more like active in my messages on Instagram. So send me a follow there. Yeah, I'm going to leave it now. I've said that about 10 times already, haven't I? Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, for tuning in, whether you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you consume the podcast. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I will speak to you guys in next week's episode, which is going to be a training episode. And I'm very, very excited for it because I'm going to go into behind the scenes more of how I program for clients, my client programming, and things you can steal to use for yourself through this festive season because I'm just feeling that nice. So anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll speak to you in next week's episode. Bye.